in Bordeaux, on the move again, trying to get to the sites that we weren't able to see tonight, plus maybe an added one here or there. For example, just now, we walked through Marchés des Capucines, which is this huge kind of like market. I don't know how to explain it other than that. It's an indoor-outdoor market. It's like the wet market in Hong Kong, except it's not wet. So we're currently making our way back to the main gate of the city and going through the market. Pretty neat. It's just your standard fare. Lots of strawberries is what we noticed. And the prices are way less expensive than in Rouen. That being said, I've also been looking at like housing prices when we walk by realty stores, and the prices here in Bordeaux for a similar sized home, if not a little bit smaller, are about a quarter to half the cost, maybe a third to half the cost of that of Rouen. So it is not as expensive in that sense either, which is kind of cool, because Lynn and I were both thinking that this is a very livable city. I'm biased, so I've been here before. I've actually spent a few nights here before at my friend's apartment, which was here, so that was kind of a good wake-up call to what not being in Paris could be like. Other than that, our goal today is to make it to, I think it's the town hall or a government building that reflects its building. I was going to say in the water, but I actually think it's in marble. I mean, we'll see it when we get there, I suppose, yeah. Anyhow, we'll check back in a moment here. All right, and now we are at the market, Les Marchés des Baccalauréats, I believe is what the sign said outside. And Mom wanted to stop over here because she wanted us to go over this famous bridge that had these crazy like observation towers, like 4 of them on each end of the bridge. And after going over the bridge, there's actually a museum right next to this market that Mom also wanted to see. It looks kind of like a cocoon or like a snail shell, and she was super interested in seeing it, so it's something that we went to go over and see. Prior to that, as we were walking in town earlier and I was talking about, we actually went to go see a few of the places, including the Bordeaux World Heritage Site, which is kind of that at night it reflects in the like marble or the stone tiles that are in front of the building, and it's really well lit. We also went over to the main Bordeaux Theater, and again, that's another thing that you tend to see at night because it's well lit, has all these statues along the roof. Before we walked over to the famous fountain that's over in the park, and currently they have like a market, an outdoor market there. That was really neat. And they had all sorts of kind of antiques that they were selling, which was really cool. Overall, really well put together. Glad that I was able to show Mom and Lynn all those areas. And then being able to then just hop onto a streetcar and ride all the way down to the station to pick up our next rental car, which we got the free upgrade, which I was kind of thinking was going to happen, so we're no longer in a Fiat 500. Then we drove from the station back to the hotel to check out, pick up everything, and now we're here. The next thing we're going to do is try to go find lunch. Mom's using the restroom real quick. Oh, we got super lucky on parking here. There's 3 free parking spots right in front of this place for 30 minutes each, and it just so happens that we were able to get 1 of 3. So the other 2 are filled, just mind you. And yeah, that's pretty much it for now. We're probably gonna go to a supermarket to pick up some like drinks and snacks to have in the car, and then find a restaurant near that supermarket to go ahead and eat. I was telling Mom that maybe we should eat here, but it's cracking now, and we don't have 30 minutes anymore. But that's a story for another day, I suppose. Anyhow, until the next section, I'll be right back. Welcome back, and from Bordeaux's market, we are now at the Roque Saint-Christophe, and this place is amazing. Like, it is, I want to say it's carved out of the mountain, but it's actually more of a place that might have been naturally formed and the French used as a fortification because it was already created for them. Like, why not, right? The mountain is dug out, and you could actually kind of see that here. And they have all sorts of different areas inside of the mountain so that they could house the up to 1,000 people, is what they were saying. One really interesting note is that to get communications from one side to another back in the day, they actually used horns, and they created a system to where at its peak they could get communications from one side to the other in 6 minutes. And so, pretty quick. Not a bad system. As for the place itself, everything has been like kind of built in to this fort, meaning that there is a church that I just passed. There is items that they could use to draw things up or to fire. They have a catapult there. There is there's actually a pump for the well so that they could draw water up. Apparently back in the day when this place was thriving, so to say, the water of the river down below used to come right up to the embankment of this rock, and you could look down and actually see yourself being reflected back up into, out of the river. Now there's actually this huge road, which they call the prehistoric road. I don't know if you could see it right there. And this huge grass place before that row of trees, which then leads to the actual river. The river's on the other side of the trees. And the place that we read this was actually right here. This is called the Mirror Passage, and it's because if you went from the far side to this side, you would then be able to see yourself reflected. Now, wow, it's really dark in here. I don't know how well this is doing, particularly because I have an ND filter on, but we shall see as I pop out through the other side. Yeah, it's still super dark. Let's see what I can do. All right, better. So, we're about halfway through now. I walked all the way down the entire carving of this rock. Again, I don't know if it's a carving or if the water just washed it up, but we've walked all the way down to the other end, saw all the living quarters and everything. We walked down, or from the bottom we walked up to see where all the cooking areas and the forge area, and they called it a slaughterhouse, where they would slaughter their animals and make it to where the blood would drip off the side, or be able to dispose of the offal and blood without having to do that much cleanup, which is kind of neat. But so far this place has been amazing. The trip here was a little hectic. It is a far drive, and not only that, but Google, when you type in the address, doesn't know where this exact place is. It actually takes you off on some weird dirt road that actually leads into the river. So coming here, again, definitely be cautious of that. But anyhow, let's go around, read some more, and then check back in. Welcome back, and I am outside of Le Roque right now, and there's actually this little kind of cafe thing that has a free restroom, so definitely taking advantage of that, or took advantage of that. Walking over to the car now. Yeah, overall we spent about an hour here, and it was worth every minute. It was really good. If you speak French, there is a French tour guide that goes, there's a schedule for him, and he actually just follows and walks through the entirety of the caves, I guess you could call them, and the fort, and he explains each and every item there. So that's kind of cool too. It's just such good views. Really, really easy to walk through and just check everything out. It's not as strenuous as I thought it was going to be, but it's not 100% simple either. So that would definitely be a note. Other than that, this is a place totally worth coming to, and I would definitely, on the way here, look up the address that they have on the website and use that on the GPS, and then once you get here, follow the signs. Once you get to the nearby town where you can actually see the rock, because it's clearly visible from across the river where all the signs were, and then cross the bridge to get here, because not doing that could have afforded us not only a little bit more time here, but not almost going into a river. Anyhow, we're off to the next spot, and we'll check back in a moment. All right, and we are now in Les Eyzies. I think that's how you say it. And we just checked in to our hotel. It was kind of hidden. The hotel is called La Vacanciole or something like that. Vacanciole, les souffles de vos vacancies. It's really nice is what it is. It definitely is like a vacation house, and it feels more like what someone would call a cabin than what most people would stay at or at like a hotel. I'll do a room tour in a moment, but just as a quick outside, the whole thing is like fenced off, so you can't actually see inside of it. And it's right next to a really cool looking cliff that just juts right out. And then as you go in, there's the receptions right next to the entrance of the place. It's gated off, like I said. It's all fenced in. And after the reception is just all the rooms. We just checked in, walked over to the room, threw all our stuff in. I'm charging a couple batteries right now as well. And now we're just heading off into Les Eyzies, because it's just this picturesque town. Like, really, it's just so pretty. And Mom and Lynn are already walking around somewhere over here. We took different things because they wanted to make sure they got as much sunlight as possible before missing out on anything. And I wanted to make sure that I got batteries charging before I left, so that I wasn't wasting time in the room, so to say. Anyhow, we're gonna walk around town, and yeah, we'll check back in a moment here. Welcome back, and good night or good evening. I am standing out in front of the Hotel Pasteur restaurant. It was the only restaurant that was open. We actually tried La Gringoire earlier, but they were closed, and we weren't able to get any food. And then we decided that we'd come down and walk around to every restaurant and ask if they were open. Now this was about 8 o'clock, and everything was closed. So the only restaurant that was actually open at the time was called the restaurant Maison, de Maison, and that's actually just right around the corner here. And the gentleman that owned that restaurant told us that he was fully booked. Unless you had a reservation, he wasn't able to get you going. So we thought, okay, well, we do have some like bread, cheese, and such at home, and we could just go and eat it at home. But he then told us, oh, there's a restaurant right around the corner that you could try to go to in the hotel. And that's where we came. So I ended up getting a rack of lamb and a glass of rosé, and Mom got the duck confit with an Asian flair, and Lynn got a mushroom ravioli, and the mushroom ravioli was quite delicious. My rack of lamb was actually quite good too. Mom's duck was kind of overly sweet, so it was something that if we left behind, we wouldn't have been too upset about. But other than that, we were just happy that we were able to get some dinner. The wine was delicious, as I kind of expected it would be. And we're just on our way back to the hotel now. I think the last thing that I'm going to do tonight is another room tour. So we'll check back in a moment here once we get back to the hotel. Mom was in the restroom, and everybody's now waiting at the car to go. So let's get out of here. All right, back in a moment. Alright, and so here is the hallway that leads to the parking lot, and we are on the first floor in room 5009. And as you come in here, you're immediately greeted with, well, I think that's like the electric panel and everything for the room. There's a coat hanger and a little armoire thing that I'm using as a luggage holder. That is my bed right there. And then we have the TV, the kitchen table, and the kitchenette area, which has a refrigerator, which we were holding on to some great cider that we bought over in Le Havre, right? Honfleur. And then plates and whatnot, sink, a double stove here, which is, I think this is Mom, is this one of those stoves where you need the special metal? I forget what they're called. Not an infrared stove. Induction stove. It looks like it. A double induction stove right there. Then we have a microwave, the hood, and then pots and pans. Oh, you know what? Those don't look like induction stove pots. I think that's just glass top stove. And we have some coffee cups. And then over here, a colander, a couple mixing bowls. So pretty legit place so far. And then as we come over here, I'll get to that next, or last rather. That's our backyard. But over here is the other bed. And they gave us the sheets, which is why Lynn is putting that together right now. And then we have Lynn's using that stool as a luggage holder. And there's another stool right here as a luggage holder for my mom's. It's actually backwards. That's Mom. This is Lynn's. And that is our closet right there. And then moving over, maybe this. Whoa, a really big bathroom. I've not actually seen this yet. Your standard toilet fare, the shower, and then here's the sink, really nice. Mirror. And then let's go back out to the backyard area. This is actually how we got all of our luggage in, because it leads right to the parking lot. That's not our car. That's actually someone else's car, but we were parked like right over there and then just moving stuff in before we went out to dinner. And then the backyard's actually legitly large. And earlier people were actually having a picnic out here, like multiple picnics in like the next door neighbor right there and whatnot. But ours only has 2 chairs, which kind of sucks. But everybody else seems to have like 6 or 7 chairs. But yeah, that is the backyard. And then close that bad boy up. And let me just turn this camera around. All right. And that is it. Signing out for what? 27th. Yeah, the 27th. Oh, there's a big moth in here.
There's also a big spider in here. But we're all going to sleep together.
Anyhow, we are out in the middle of the woods in the middle of nowhere. This Les Eyzies is quite an interesting place, and we're going to see a lot more of it tomorrow. We're actually going to be doing kind of a small town tour all around this area, so that'll be cool. Anyhow, like I said, have a good night. I'm going to go ahead and crack open this rosé cider from Honfleur.
Oh, that's delicious. That's like juice. Cider rosé. Honfleur really knows how to make it.
And have a great rest of the night. Till the next video.